Okay, we're going to take a quick tour of the Lenovo X220 tablet and offer you 10 tips or tricks that you can do with your tablet if you're just getting started. Alright, so number one, custom rotation. So one of the things you'll want to do is when you switch your tablet to portrait mode, you want to dictate which direction it's going to go. For example, when I turn it, I have mine set on landscape. Okay, so when I turn it like that, it swings down and it automatically adjusts to landscape mode. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the screencast, but we'll see. So to do that, what I do is I go to Start, Control Panel, and I'm going to go ahead and look for the Lenovo Tablet Control Settings utility, and it says here, upon switching to tablet mode, automatically set my screen orientation to secondary landscape. It started out as primary portrait, but I want it as secondary landscape. So that's tip number one, setting your rotation to be the orientation that you want it. Number two, making shortcuts for your desktop. So we have a couple programs here that I always use, and for tablet users, I bet you do as well. I'm going to go into Office, I'm going to go to Microsoft Word, I'm going to right click and then send to desktop, and that's going to create a shortcut on my desktop, as you can see here. I'm going to do it one more time, and I'm going to do it for PowerPoint. So I'm going to go Office, PowerPoint, right click, send to desktop, and voila, there it is. That's tip number two, making shortcuts for your desktop. Number three is pinning applications to your taskbar. As you can see here, I have a bunch of applications that I can just click on, one click, and I'm automatically going to open my browser, which goes in my Google Calendar. And so you could do the same thing. So I'm going to take those shortcuts, I'm going to right click on that shortcut, and it says pin to taskbar, and that's going to automatically place a kind of a shortcut on the taskbar here. Now if you don't want it there anymore, you can just right click it and say unpin from taskbar, and it'll disappear. So I'm going to remove these two, and they're gone. So that's tip number three, pinning and unpinning to your taskbar. Outlook, tip number four. Outlook, for those of you who just got your laptops, you are now, since you're connected to a wireless network and you're logged in as yourself, when you open up Outlook, it'll configure to have all your account settings and your school email ready to go. So you shouldn't have to configure anything. Just open up Microsoft Outlook, and the first time may take a little longer, as you can see here, but once it goes, it'll automatically configure your account, set up, ready to go, as you can see here. There we go. There's my email. And my mailbox and my calendar and all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to close this. So that's tip number four. Tip number five, installing programs, particularly Google Chrome. So one of the things you'll notice on your tablet, Google Chrome may or may not be installed. So if I want to install it, I'll go ahead and type Google Chrome here, and I'm going to download Google Chrome. And if I'm using Firefox, as I am in this example, and I download something, I need to go find it once it downloads. So, so if I say download and say I don't want default, and I accept and install, it's going to save it into my downloads folder. Now, where does that go? If I go ahead and go to Start Computer, and then you'll see C drive, or if you don't see C drive, go ahead and click on C:, and then you'll see C drive here, and then you should be able to find downloads right here, and you'll see there Chrome setup. So that's tip number five, Google downloading, installing items that you've downloaded from Firefox. Okay, next up, power controls. So again, I'm going to go through in the control panel, and I'm going to look for Lenovo power controls. This is nice because it allows you to tweak some settings in your power manager. And some of those settings could be something as simple as setting up your computer to be higher energy saving. So if battery life is more important to you, then I'll switch that. Or if you want higher performance, then I'll switch this more towards higher performance. You have something called Lenovo Turbo Boost. That will give you a little bit of a better processing power while having your fan speed be a little louder. So your laptop will be not so quiet, but you'll get maybe a little boost in processing speed. And then there's a whole bunch of other settings you can do, whether you're on battery or whether you're on AC, and you can decide what to do. This is an important one I like to configure, is that when I close the lid, I want it to automatically go to sleep, and yet I want instant resume, which is nice because it stays connected to my Wi-Fi network. I want that to stay on, and I set it for 30 minutes so that when I open the lid and it comes out of sleep, the computer is ready to go. It doesn't have to connect to the internet using the network. So that's tip number 6, power controls. Tip number 7, simple tap. So these new Lenovo X220s are actually touchscreen. So to configure and play around with the touchscreen, you can open up an application called Simple Tap. And this gives you access to a bunch of other little applets and applications, and it gives you a nice little explanation of the interface here. But basically what I can do is I get access to some quick settings. So if I want to adjust my volume, I can pretty much touch the screen and maneuver this with my finger, and it will do that as well. I can rotate the screen just by a simple touch. Again, 90 degrees, rotate. As you can see now I'm in portrait, and then rotate again. Let's go back 90 degrees, and so I'm back into my landscape formation. So there's a whole bunch of other stuff on here. This is called Lenovo Simple Tap, and as you can see, lots of different apps that you can download and basically just get quick access to. 2 fingers to enable it, 2 fingers to exit the Simple Tap. That's tip number 7. Tip number 8, Word and PowerPoint, and how do you get inking tools going. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Microsoft Word, and go ahead. Actually, I have my shortcut, right? So double click on Word. And I've gone through this with a lot of you tablet users before, but as you know, you can go to Review and start inking, and go ahead and grab your pen, and you're in inking mode right away, right? And you can change the colors and the weights, and you guys have seen that before. I can also use the back of the pen to erase, okay, and it'll go away. But what some of you may or may not know is you can put that shortcut up here into your quick access toolbar. So I'm going to go to More Commands, and I'm going to go to my Review tab, because that's where I found that Start Inking button. Scroll down so you see Start Inking, and I'm going to go ahead and add it to my custom Quick Access toolbar. So now you can see here, instead of going to Review and Start Inking, I can pretty much ink wherever I'm at, and it goes right to it. So it's a quick little shortcut. Saves you a click or two, and that's always helpful. So you can do the same thing in PowerPoint and Excel even. Okay. And don't need to save changes there. And then one other thing is I'm going to show you a couple things in OneNote. So a lot of you use OneNote. So I'm going to go ahead and open up OneNote here. And what you can do with OneNote is you can actually insert a Pens toolbar. So if I go to View, and then I can go to my Pens toolbar, this will give you quick access to a whole bunch of pens, including highlighters and such, that you may or may not have known that you have access to. So that's again under View, My Pens toolbars. And you have a whole bunch of other toolbars that you can turn on or off. And that's using OneNote. Tip number 9. Well, that was tip number 9, sorry. Last tip, let's go into the control panel one more time, and then we'll find towards the bottom here, tablet PC settings. This is a nice place for you to find a couple of things that you can configure, including the calibration of your display, the buttons, what you want the buttons to do, and then your pen and touch settings. So this is nice if you want to arrange for disabling your right click, which I actually often do because the way I hold my pen, I accidentally press the right click button, and so I actually don't want that, but some of you may like that. And then you can tweak other settings such as flicks and handwriting and touch and panning. So you can kind of read up a little bit more about these. These are ways for you to customize your pen and touch experience. So that's it, 10 tips on how to use your new X220 Lenovo tablet.